This mother fired 8 shots at the murderer of her daughter in court. Although she avenged her daughter, she also put herself in a huge whirlpool. Some people believe she was justified in avenging her daughter, while others think she blatantly defied national law and should be severely punished. Her trial attracted attention from all over Germany and the world. Even 40 years later, this case remains one of the most notable in Germany. Why did this mother resort to vigilante justice instead of waiting for the trial to end? What kind of grievance led her to openly challenge the law? What exactly happened back then? Hello, welcome to the Crime Documentary Files channel. Let's go back to 1980 and review the details of this case. Lübeck is located in northern Germany, just 60 kilometers from Hamburg. It is a city with a long history and a famous tourist destination in northern Europe. In addition to picturesque scenery, it has many medieval relics, and the entire old town still retains its medieval appearance. Marianne Bachmeier was born in June 1950 in Saxony, Germany. Her parents were survivors of the bombings of World War II. Her father had even served in the Nazi Waffen-SS. The harsh military life made her father an alcoholic and very irritable. He either spent his time in bars or came home to create drunken havoc, making family life miserable. Marianne grew up in this environment and became a passionate and independent girl. This wasn't necessarily bad, but her views often clashed with her parents' traditional and conservative values, leading to frequent conflicts. Later, her father abandoned the family. Marianne enjoyed a quiet and comfortable life with her mother for a while, but this didn't last long as her mother remarried. Her stepfather was even worse than her father, not only being cold to Marianne, but also being abusive. Marianne, having escaped one difficult situation, found herself in another. Her mother blamed the family conflicts on Marianne's rebellion and immaturity. Poor Marianne grew up unloved by either parent in such a terrible environment, becoming a troubled teenager. In 1966, at the age of 16, Marianne had her first sexual experience and became pregnant. As a student, she couldn't afford to raise the child, so she gave her first daughter up for adoption. 2 years later, at 18, she became pregnant again. This time she planned to raise the child with her boyfriend, but before the baby was born, she was assaulted at a dance hall. Her boyfriend broke up with her, and as a high school student, she couldn't raise the child alone, so her second daughter was also given up for adoption. After graduating high school, the beautiful Marianne found a job as a waitress at Tipasa Bar in Lübeck's old town. She eventually became romantically involved with the bar manager. In 1972, at 22, Marianne became pregnant for the third time. Despite not being financially well off and still unmarried, she felt guilty about giving up her previous 2 daughters. This time, she was determined to raise the child herself. On November 14, 1972, Marianne's third daughter was born, and she named her Anna Bachmeier. Marianne even had a sterilization operation to ensure Anna would be her only child. As a single mother, Marianne devoted herself entirely to Anna. However, over time, problems arose. Fully caring for Anna left her no time to work and earn money. Financially strained, Marianne had no choice but to take Anna with her to the bar. Little Anna spent all her time in the noisy bar, but fortunately she was well behaved, and the bar staff liked her. Over time, people around the bar got to know this pretty little girl, and colleagues and neighbors took care of her. But this was not a long-term solution. The bar operated at night and rested during the day, which was detrimental to Anna's health and development due to the irregular schedule and noisy environment. Marianne, as a mother, naturally worried about this. But what could she do? She was already a co-owner of the bar and couldn't abandon the business. She needed to earn money to give her daughter a good life. Unable to fully care for Anna, Marianne pondered finding a reliable family to look after her, but she couldn't bear to give up her last daughter, so she remained undecided. In the blink of an eye, it was 1980. Anna was already 7 years old and very adorable. By this time, she was living a relatively normal life, going to school with her peers during the day. On May 4th, Anna and Marianne had a minor argument over trivial matters. Being a child, Anna got upset and decided not to go to school the next day. Instead, she went out to play with her friends, but they were all at school, so she ended up wandering the streets alone. Marianne, after waking up, thought Anna had gone to school and didn't think much of it. However, when school was over and Anna still hadn't come home, she became anxious and went out to look for her. She asked around the neighborhood, but no one had seen Anna. When she asked the teacher, she found out that Anna hadn't been to school that day. Panicking, Marianne reported Anna's disappearance to the police. The police deployed several officers to search the area, but Anna was nowhere to be found. As the police search yielded no results, a woman came to the police station to report a crime. She said, "I sneaked out. My fiancé is in big trouble. He killed Anna. Yesterday, I wasn't home. My fiancé met Anna downstairs. Since we are neighbors, they knew each other, and he invited Anna to our house to play with the cat. Anna, being a child, didn't suspect anything and agreed. But once she entered the house, she never came out. Later, my fiancé told me he strangled Anna with a stocking. Afterward, he put her body in a cardboard box and buried it near a river." The police hurried to follow the woman to her fiancé's location. When they arrived, they found the house empty, except for a note left by the fiancé. The note read, "Dear, I'm waiting for you at a nearby bar. I want to have a good talk with you. Please come." Realizing he hadn't fled, the officers rushed to the bar and apprehended the man, bringing him back for questioning. Meanwhile, they found Anna's body, tied up and stuffed in a box near the river as the woman had described. Preliminary investigations identified the man as Klaus Grabowski, a 35-year-old butcher who lived next to Marianne. There had been no previous animosity between them, so it was baffling why Klaus would harm a child. Klaus was a known sex offender with a history of crimes against young girls. In 1973, at 28, Klaus attempted to harm a 6-year-old girl, but her screams attracted attention and Klaus fled. He was charged with attempted murder and received a suspended sentence, so he didn't serve prison time. One would think Klaus would learn from his mistakes, but he reoffended 2 years later, sexually abusing 2 young girls. This time, he was caught red-handed. Instead of prison, Klaus was sent to a psychiatric hospital, claiming he committed the crimes due to a mental illness. After treatment, his condition improved, but he remained a dangerous person. To prevent future offenses, authorities considered chemical castration, which involves injecting female hormones to lower testosterone and reduce sexual urges. Klaus was given 2 options: undergo chemical castration and be released or stay in the psychiatric hospital. Klaus chose chemical castration and was released. Initially, he had no sexual urges and led a stable life for 2 years. However, unable to suppress his nature, Klaus learned from a urologist that chemical castration was reversible. Klaus petitioned the court, claiming he had reformed, had a girlfriend, and wanted to start a family. He also said the treatment had adverse effects on his body and requested hormone therapy to reverse the castration. Without thorough investigation, the court granted his request. In March 1980, Klaus began hormone therapy with a urologist who was unaware of his criminal background. By April 25th, Klaus's hormone levels were fully restored, bringing back his dangerous tendencies. 10 days later, he targeted little Anna. On May 5th, Anna, unable to find her friends, wandered the streets alone. Klaus lured her to his house and subjected her to hours of abuse before brutally killing her. Marianne, devastated by her daughter's death, couldn't accept the reality and lacked the courage to see her daughter. She locked herself in her room, regretting their argument, working at the bar, and not personally taking Anna to school. Despite her regrets, nothing could change what happened. Marianne knew the only thing she could do for her daughter now was to ensure the murderer was punished. After 10 months of painful waiting, Klaus's trial finally began. When questioned by the police, Klaus claimed, "I didn't intend to harm Anna, but she blackmailed me, saying if I didn't give her something, she would tell on me for touching her. I have a criminal record and didn't want to go back to jail. In the ensuing argument, I accidentally strangled her." The police, of course, didn't believe Klaus. Given his history, it was unlikely a 7-year-old would blackmail him in such a way. In March 1981, the trial of Klaus began at the Lübeck District Court. Klaus did not deny that Anna died by his hand and even recounted the entire process. He seemed very experienced in handling the questioning. In fact, he had a history of avoiding severe punishment due to claimed mental health issues, even though there was evidence against him in his previous cases. This raised concerns that history might repeat itself and he might evade justice once again. Klaus's defense lawyer argued that his behavior was due to hormonal imbalance caused by voluntary chemical castration years ago, and that this was a side effect of the procedure. This defense sparked a heated debate about the rationality of using chemical castration for sex offenders in Germany. At that time, many offenders accepted chemical castration to gain freedom, but there was no monitoring or management of these individuals afterward. They could secretly find private doctors or buy medications to reverse the effects, just like Klaus did. Based on this, Marianne also sued the doctor who treated Klaus, but the doctor faced no penalties. On the second day of the trial, the police released details of Anna's discovery, which revealed Klaus's horrific actions. On March 6th, the third day of the trial, Marianne arrived at the courthouse early. As Klaus was brought into the courtroom, Marianne followed him, wearing an overcoat. When she was just 3 meters away from Klaus, she quickly pulled out a .22 caliber pistol and fired 8 shots at him without hesitation. It all happened so fast that the court staff couldn't stop her in time. After shooting, Marianne threw the gun aside, raised her hands, and surrendered, saying, "I wanted to shoot him in the face, but unfortunately, I could only shoot him in the back." A voice then said, "She did it. She really did it," which turned out to be Anna's father, Marianne's ex-boyfriend. Klaus was hit by 7 out of the 8 bullets and was declared dead at the scene. This incident shocked everyone present. It was unprecedented for someone to shoot and kill in the courtroom. The event caused a huge sensation in Germany, with Marianne making headlines in all major newspapers and news programs. Overnight, everyone in the country knew Marianne's name, and she was dubbed the Avenging Mother. Her story was widely covered in the news and media, spreading globally. Many parents supported her, saying they would have done the same if it were their child, praising her actions as justified revenge. However, there were also those who opposed her actions, viewing her as a cold-blooded killer who disregarded the law. Marianne's trial became a major topic of discussion across Germany and the world, with extensive coverage by media outlets. Despite the overwhelming support for Marianne, an undeniable fact remained. Klaus, despite his heinous crimes, had not yet been convicted when he was shot, meaning he was legally innocent at the time. The argument was that even if he were guilty, it was up to the law to decide his punishment, not for someone to take the law into their own hands. If everyone acted as Marianne did, society would descend into chaos. Thus, Marianne's actions were seen as a blatant defiance of the law with severe consequences. The court recognized this, understanding that despite the majority support for Marianne, her actions could not go unpunished. On March 2nd, 1983, Marianne's trial began. The case was so well known and unique that it attracted a large crowd of supporters and spectators, forcing the court to move the trial to a larger hall that could accommodate 200 people. Many came to support Marianne, hoping for leniency, with some even sending threatening letters to the court. Police investigations revealed that Marianne had bought the gun after Anna's death and practiced shooting in the bar's cellar where she worked. Her ex-boyfriend's comment after the shooting suggested premeditation. If proven, this would mean Marianne committed premeditated murder, which could result in a life sentence. The prosecution emphasized that her swift and accurate shooting indicated practice. Marianne defended herself, saying she bought the gun for self-defense, fearing another encounter with a criminal like Klaus, and denied practicing shooting. She claimed she was mentally unstable after Anna's death, often hallucinating and feeling like she was in a dream when she shot Klaus. During her pre-trial detention, Marianne attempted suicide 5 times, and doctors and psychologists confirmed she had suffered significant psychological trauma from her daughter's murder. After 25 days of trial, the final verdict was that while Marianne committed a crime, she posed no threat to society. Her actions were deemed the result of extreme psychological distress. She was found guilty of manslaughter and illegal possession of a firearm, receiving a 6-year sentence. The trial's outcome sparked intense debate in Germany, with public opinion divided. Some thought the sentence was too lenient, others too harsh, and some felt it was fair. Marianne later sold her story to a German magazine for 250,000 marks, using the money for legal expenses. In June 1985, after serving 3 years, she was released on parole. She soon married a teacher and moved to Nigeria, but the marriage didn't last, and they divorced in 1990. Seeking tranquility, Marianne moved to Sicily but was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Returning to Germany for better treatment, she knew her time was limited and hired a journalist to document her final days. Notably, in a 1995 talk show, she admitted to premeditatedly killing Klaus to prevent him from spreading lies about Anna, confirming the police's initial analysis. In September 17, 1996, Marianne died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 46 and was buried alongside Anna. This case remains one of the most notable in Germany since 1945 and is considered a landmark in the field of justice. Marianne's story became a symbol of the deep-seated conflicts between personal grief and societal laws, a reminder of the thin line between justice and vengeance. Her tale, echoed through the years, continues to provoke reflection on the lengths a mother might go to seek justice for her child and the enduring impact of such a dramatic, tragic event. If you enjoyed my video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. See you next time.